To understand the separating and throttling calorimeter better, we would take an example, a numerical, which would help us clear the concepts of the calculation part of separating and throttling calorimeter. As is seen on the screen, we have a separating and throttling calorimeter here. This is the device which is used to determine the dryness fraction of the steam which is flowing through this steam pipe, and a sample of which is taken into the separating calorimeter, and then from the separating calorimeter we sent it to the throttling calorimeter. So the numerical is as follows. Let us take down this numerical. We need to carry a notebook with us, which would help us to note down the observations which are given, and then we would solve the numerical. So the question is as follows. Let us say that the separating and throttling calorimeter is fed with the steam whose pressure is 15 bar. Okay, so it is given that this pressure gauge would indicate this would give us the gauge pressure actually, but when converted into absolute pressure by adding the atmospheric pressure, the pressure which is of the steam coming from the boiler, the main steam pipe, whose dryness fraction is to be found, is noted, and it is 15 bar or 1.5 megapascal. So this is the first reading which is taken during the experiment. Then the other reading which is taken during the experiment is the pressure reading after throttling and the temperature reading after throttling. So which readings? So let us go back to this diagram. So after throttling, we need to note down the pressure, and after throttling, we need to note down the temperature. Okay. So temperature after throttling would be this from a thermocouple or a thermometer, and the pressure after throttling would be from the pressure gauge. Again, the pressure gauge would indicate the gauge pressure, and what is given in the problem is the absolute pressure. So we need to add the atmospheric pressure and we get the corresponding pressure. So these two readings are also taken. So that is again given in the part of the problem, that the pressure is 1 bar or 0.1 megapascal and the temperature after throttling is 110 degree centigrade. Now we know that approximately the boiling point at 1 bar is 100 degrees centigrade and the temperature of the steam is 110 degrees centigrade, meaning that the steam after throttling is superheated. The steam after throttling is superheated. Okay. Other two observations are the observations on the moisture collected in the separator and observations of the mass of the steam which is condensed after throttling. Means which are they? So one is this. This is a separator, and I said that the moisture is separated from the wet steam as it flows through the separator, and this is separated in the separator, and we can collect the volume over here. And once you get the volume over here, and we can note down the temperature. Okay, so that volume and temperature is given here. Okay, so the volume of the water which is separated and the duration of the experiment is given to be 5 minutes. So in the 5 minutes, some water will be collected here, and that volume is to be noted and the temperature is to be noted. Okay, so that is given to be 0.150 liters and its temperature is noted to be 70 degrees Celsius. So that moisture is an important part of the reading. Okay, so let us call this a small m. We'll call this a small m. Actually, it was a volume. We'll convert it into a mass. Then the steam which is condensed after throttling is 3.24 kgs. Okay, steam which is condensed after throttling means this is the steam, and it is then sent to the condenser, and then that steam which is a gaseous form is condensed and it becomes liquid, and this volume is again noted. Now here, instead of giving the volume, they have directly given the mass, but in the actual experimentation, when you do the actual experimentation, we actually get the volume readings over here, and that volume readings, again by reading the specific volume, we convert it into mass. Okay, so how to convert the volume to mass, that we'll see by the example of the moisture which is collected from the separator. Okay, so let us begin with the problem now. Okay, let me just show you what processes are happening. So the state A is this, state A is this, state B is after separation, and state C is the superheated steam after throttling. You see that there is a throttling, and as we have seen, the steam has become superheated. The temperature is 110 degrees centigrade, whereas the pressure here is only 1 bar. Here the pressure is 15 bar. Okay, so this is the 15 bar pressure line. This is a 1 bar pressure line. The steam is throttled from 15 bar to 1 bar. Okay, and the steam was wet initially. It becomes superheated after throttling. During separation, it was much more wet. That is, here was a dryness fraction, and then after separation, it becomes here. Okay, so it comes to B. Now let us solve this. How to solve this? Let me share with you the whiteboard for solving this. Okay. So first step is to determine the small m. Okay, determine the small m from the mass balance. So what we will do is that we determine small m, and small m is equal to, small m is what? We are defining small m as the mass of moisture which is removed from the separator. Moisture removed from separator. And as you know that volume, mass is volume upon specific volume. Volume upon specific volume. Now specific volume has to be read at the temperatures which are given, that is at so at 70 degrees centigrade, from the steam tables. And this volume is given to be 0.150 liters. So this is 0.150 liters. And from the steam tables, we can read the specific volume at 70 degrees centigrade, and that value comes to be 0.001023, and its unit is meter cube per kg. Now, if you want to solve this, we need to convert the liters into meter cube in the numerator. And how you do that? For that, you just multiply it with 10 raised to minus 3. So 1 liter is 10 raised to minus 3 cubic meter. This is 10 raised to minus 3 cubic meter upon, this is 0.001 something. Okay. So now if you look at the units, you'll see that meter cube gets cancelled and you are left with the kgs. So that kg, if you solve it and convince yourselves that that value is 0.1462. 0.1462 kgs. Okay, so this is how you calculate the mass m. Now you are given capital M also. What you are given is capital M. What is capital M? So capital M is the mass of the condensate. Capital M is the mass of the condensate which is given, this mass of condensate. So this is how much? The mass of the condensate is straightway given in kgs. Actually, as I said, it would also be in volume and you'll have to do this kind of calculations. But here, to simplify, we are directly given this mass as 3.24 kgs. So once this is given, 3.24 kgs, now it becomes very easy to do the calculations. Okay, so 3.24 kgs is given, and from that you can find out the we would be in a position to find out the small x1. Okay, so what is x1? X1 is m upon, x1 is m upon m plus, so 3.24 kgs, and then x1 is m upon m plus capital M. So using these values, that is of capital M and small m, you would get the value of x1 as let us calculate this and see, 0.1462 0.1462 upon 0.1462 plus 3.24. All of you calculate and tell me this answer. This would be value. Let me calculate from my calculator. You can also calculate from your end, and let us see what answer we are getting from here. Okay. So this comes to be, yeah, let me do this fast. So 0.1462 divided by 0.1462 plus 3.24. Okay, so that the answer with me now is, okay, small mistake I had committed here. This is to be capital M, sorry here. So this is capital M upon M plus M. So this has to be, just may erase this. This has to be 3.24. Okay, so this is 3.24 upon 0.1462 plus 3.24, and that answer comes to be, the value of x1 comes to as 0.95 something. Okay, so that is 0.95. I'll just write up to 2 decimals, 29568. Okay, 68. So this is how you calculate x1, right? So how do you find x1? X1 you find from the mass, which is mass readings which you have taken, right? Actually the volume readings which you have taken, that is M and capital M. Okay, and then we move on to calculate the value of x2. Now how do you calculate x2? Let me show you the calculation of x2. X2 calculation is very important. So for calculating x2, we equate the enthalpy before throttling with the enthalpy after throttling. Now enthalpy before throttling is HF plus X of HFG, right? That is before throttling. And because why this is so? Because this is a wet steam. Before throttling, it is a wet steam, as I had shown you in the diagram. Okay, and after throttling, it becomes superheated, and we had seen that it has become superheated at 0.1 megapascal and 110 degrees centigrade. So in terms of bar, if you want, this is 1 bar. And before throttling, what is the pressure? Before throttling, it is given to be, the pressure is given to be 1.5 megapascal, or if you like it in bars, it is in 15 bars. So how do you solve this? For solving this, you need to read the value of enthalpy at 15 bar. You read the value of HFG at 15 bar. Okay, and then the value of x2 is unknown. This again from the superheated steam table, you can read the value of H superheated. So we have learned how to refer to the steam tables. So from the superheated steam table, if you look at 0.1 megapascal 110 degrees centigrade, you will find that H superheated value, it comes to be 2696.2, okay, kilojoules per kg. And the value of HF at 15 bar, HF at 15 bar is 844.89. This is the value of HF at 15 bar, and plus X2 and HFG at 15 bar, the value with me is 1947.3. 1947.3. Okay. So you can refer to the steam tables and convince yourselves that the value of HF at 15 bar or 1.5 megapascal is around 844. A slight difference in your values doesn't matter much. Okay, and HFG value at 15 bar has to be around 1947.3. The unit is kilojoules per kg. Okay, so if you solve this equation, you will get the value of x2, and that value of x2 I have is 0.955. And once you get x2 and x1, you had got x1 here as 0.9568 and now you have got x2 here, which is 0.955. So x is obtained as the product of x1 into x2, and if you do that multiplication, then you will get the answer as 0.915. So the answer is the Diurness fraction of the steam. The Diurness fraction of the steam is found to be 0.915, okay, for the given readings. Okay, so this is how we need to do the calculations when the readings from the separating and throttling calorimeter are available with us. Okay, just to revise, how do you find x1? X1 we found from the mass balance as capital M upon small m plus capital M, and x2 you found from the enthalpy balance across the throttling device, that is enthalpy before throttling is equal to enthalpy after throttling, and then once you found x1 and x2, you get x is equal to x1 into x2. So this is how this very interesting kind of experiment is performed, and such readings yield us the value of Diurness fraction of the steam. Thank you.